guys, welcome back to the Gen Y Investor. Today I'm just doing a nice and quick video on racehorse DNA, which is one of the main things I think people need to think about when beginning their ZED RUN journey. So again, there's a lot of long-winded YouTube videos that I see around the place that I had to watch, basically, 20-30 minutes explaining each of the contributing factors of what goes into the racehorse DNA, but I'm going to try and sort of jam it into about 10 minutes here and just be nice and efficient because it's pretty easy to understand for the most part, so we shouldn't have any problems. So I think key takeaway for this should be, even if you get a really good genotype, bloodline and blood type, which are the three contributing factors to racehorse DNA, you can still have a donkey. It doesn't mean you're definitely going to get a champion racehorse or even a profitable racehorse. It's just going to increase your chances. So it's all probability based. That's probably the key takeaway from this video. We'll look into genotype first of all, which is probably the easiest to understand. So genotype, very simple. It starts at Z1, which is the most rare, and then it goes all the way to Z268. Now, basically, breeding a Z1 with a Z3, you sum it together, will create a Z4. Breeding a Z6 with a Z7 will create a Z13. So it's just gonna go down the rung with adding it up when you breed them. Z1, highest chance of having a profitable racehorse. So I think the genotype is pretty easy to understand for the most part. And then we also have bloodline, and this is blood type. Now these are the two breeding matrices, but I should be able to explain from here what this is all about. So blood type, we have Genesis, Legendary, Exclusive, Elite, Cross, and Pacer. Now Genesis horses are only available from the ZED RUN drops, which they do every few months. If you breed a Genesis with a Legendary, as you can see, you'll get an Exclusive. You can look down the line and check this matrix out in more detail if you want to pause the video, but it's all pretty self-explanatory. An Exclusive with an Exclusive is an Elite. There's a few little things that I like in there, but I won't go into too much detail on that. I think you guys can read this yourself. But yeah, Genesis, most rare, highest chance of having a champion racehorse or a good racehorse even. And at the same time, a little bit of a tangent, but you guys need to race this horse and choose the right races to put it in. So it's very interactive in that sense as well. But yeah, so it goes down the line. Legendary comes from Genesis, and then so on and so on. This is all from breeding. Only the original ZED RUN dropped horses are Genesis, most rare, highest chance of profitability. Pretty easy to understand that. And then we go into bloodline. And then I'll bring this all together in a second, but with the bloodline, we've got 4 different types. We have Nakamoto, most rare, Sasbo, second most rare, Finny, and Buterin. So with all of this, a Nakamoto Genesis Z1 is going to be a huge amount of money. So if you want to spend 30 odd grand or so on a Z1 Nakamoto Genesis, chances are it'll be a decent horse, but it might not be. That's what you have to keep in mind. So it's all sort of about weighing up whether you think a Sasbo is going to be a higher chance of being profitable than what I'm spending against buying a Nakamoto or something like that. But again, this breeding matrix just shows that if we breed a Nakamoto with a Nakamoto, you'll keep that bloodline pure, you'll have a Nakamoto. So if we bred, let's say, a Genesis Nakamoto Z1 with a Genesis Nakamoto Z2, we would get a Nakamoto Z3 Legendary, because 2 Genesises breed a Legendary. So that's the only thing that would really change, and the genotype would go down as well, to put that all into perspective. And that offspring would probably have a pretty good chance of being profitable because it's still quite a high genotype, bloodline, and blood type. Again, doesn't necessarily mean that it will be. So I think those 3 things are all pretty easy to understand, I thought, for the most part. You can see here, this is sort of how much you're looking at paying for all of these. So Nakamotos, with the ZED RUN drops, so Z1 and Z2 are going to be Nakamotos, Z3 to Z4 will be Sasbos, and Z5 to Z7 will be Finnies, Z8 to Z10 will be Buterins. And huge differences in the prices, as we can see. And the later the drop, so this one was on the 5th of July was the last one, so we're hoping for one soon. But you know, the Z1 Nakamotos, these are all Genesis horses, by the way, but the Z1 Nakamotos are going for about 36,900 each. I think there's about 5,000 released in total, and you can buy them off of OpenSea as well. You can buy unraced Genesises off of OpenSea, but again, you don't know whether that'll be profitable or not. It's just increasing your chances, essentially. Like I said, key takeaway there. We can then look at a horse like Steph Curry, which is nothing amazing, a Z13 Buterin Elite. So pretty low on the genotype. Buterin, I think, is the lowest, and Elite's down the rung as well with Bloodline and Bloodtype. So nothing strikes you as amazing there, but this is probably one of the best horses on the site. Huge profit, about 4.2 Ethereum profit, really good average odds. Probably going to make another video on what all of that means and why we want a U-shaped curve and that sort of gear later on. But this is just serving to show that, like, yeah, you can have something down the rung and you can still have a champion. It's all based on probability. So you can breed really good bloodline horses and you can still get a donkey, like I said. So you've got to be careful with that and just keep in mind that a decent genotype, bloodline and blood type increase your chances of having a good horse, but doesn't necessarily mean you will get a good horse. So hopefully, I mean, that was pretty quick and easy to understand, I thought. Feel free to chuck a comment down below if you have any more questions and I can try and explain it, because there is probably a little bit more than that I've skimmed over a bit here. But yeah, I think that's, for the most part, racehorse DNA in a nutshell. Hopefully, if you guys wanted something quick and easy, that serves its purpose. Thanks, guys.